Hello everybody, finally made Sweet Diamond 1. I figured we'd just take a look at some more interesting games I had during my climb to this rank. And I have excluded a lot of games against Swordsoul Tenyi because we had a bunch of those in the previous video. For the deck list, we have a 40 card version, which I will go over these at the end of the video, don't worry about it. Then a 50 card version, which is my favorite one. And then we have a 50 card version that is running DPE because DPE is so busted and needs to be banned right away. It's just better than any other version of the deck. Let's just start off the first game in one of the worst possible situations. At least we get to resolve a max C here. However, this is a pretty unplayable and literally game-losing hand we've got here. And the first card didn't help, and neither did the second card. Not really, at least. Fortunately for us, he decides to hold back so we can actually get to play here. But also, maybe if we had played, we would have been better off. So we have to find the red resonator no matter what. Obviously, he's gonna do that, but since he has a synchro monster on the field, I can just summon the synchro resonator. Unfortunately, it gets worse because he also had the Red Supernova in his hand. So he did have more plays planned, per se. I try and set up the Hulk with Brax combo here because that's literally our only play. That's why the Hydride is in the deck. But unfortunately, we had it in our opening hand. But honestly, it's in the deck just to unbreak our hand, and in situations like this, you're happy to see it. Here, I actually do a crazy maneuver because I activate the first effect when it's summoned, where I can send a card from my graveyard, but he doesn't know. It might as well have been the Krieg effect that I had activated, and in response to me activating an effect on my monster, he activates the negate effect, but then I can Krieg effect on top of it, and this was done intentionally by me to try and bait out his negate, which allowed me to get the Swordsoul Supreme. And now the infinite impermanence that I've actually been saving comes in real handy. I don't know why I have a Draconic Diagram in the deck, but from when checking his deck list, he were running some True Kings and stuff, so I think that's extra worms for his deck that he's decided to run. Infinite impermanence obviously saving me here very hard. First things first, I feel like searching out just Playmaker here, but I don't want it negated, so obviously I attack first, even though it means my Supreme Sovereign gets negated. So I believe I'm going into a Baron de Fleur at this stage because I can, but also I know that the first thing I summon will be destroyed by the Iris Swordsoul here. You might be wondering why he didn't do that on the Christian Hulk. I think it was something with how I chained it, or he didn't see it as a threat yet and wanted to save it to something else, because it was kind of like a play that I did out of the opening, so I might have had more stuff. I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking, but I definitely outplayed this opponent and he concedes as a result. So here we're against a Skystriker running DPE, that Hard Dwarfs Fusion Destiny. Also, I've cut the Dune from my deck list, mainly because it wasn't useful in the DPE version, but also it just took a bit too many resources and I wanted to keep the deck list at 50 cards and not go to, 60 or something, because that might scare some people away. Felt like running a 50 card deck might be better, but especially when you're running bricks, I like to run a 60 card deck, but it's also a bit hard to run a proper 60 card deck with the Swordsouls. So yeah, it kind of like he banished cards to try and, fake me out to use the effect, which happens, but then I also have the Red Rain, which he definitely didn't expect, so I get rid of the DP that way. Now this is where the whole Skystriker thing comes in. He yoinks my Ash Blossom so he can go into a Link Summon. Luckily I have the Ash Blossom, which is, it's kind of funny what's gonna happen here, because he's kind of screwed no matter what. He has to banish it, but then I just use the Swordsoul Supreme to banish his Crystal Hulk, and then he's screwed anyways. So I felt like that's pretty funny. Too bad he doesn't have the Hulk anymore, so all he can do is put down a bit of defense, but, I do this, so I've won at this stage, and he concedes this result. This game is going to be against Altergeist. We basically have the perfect setup to get a Red Supernova Dragon out. We are actually using this first to see if he has an Ash Blossom, which he didn't, but if he had, we still had the One King Wildwind in this hand to seal the deal for us. As a result, we now can securely go into the Red Supernova Dragon. We don't find anything useful here, also running the DP version in this game. But yeah, just Red Supernova Dragon on the field. Obviously he has a Pot of Prosperity, and obviously, this is where we see it's an Altergeist deck, but also he finds Infinite Imperm, which is just what he needs to get rid of my Red Supernova Dragon. So all of my effort just absolutely wasted. But hey, a good thing we have the Chaos Rule and the Graveyard at the very least. Gotta try. You gotta try, even if it doesn't work, Just scare him a bit. Like, you have that big boss monster, might as well use it to scare if the opponent have the effect negated. Finds the multi-fake. I have Lord of Heavenly Prison as well. Very annoying. Just wanna activate the effect because he doesn't have anything in this extra deck anyways that are, you know, of importance, so might as well bait it out. Obviously as called by the grave, but this also counts as the effect being negated, so I can resummon my Red Swordsoul, even though he returns it here. But yeah, that's the battle phase baited out. Then I can summon back the Chaos Ruler, which with the Chain Resonator I'll be able to get a negate on the board, which, you know, should at least help me in this matchup a lot. But also I have the Archnemesis Protoss, which I can put down and call Wind, and then basically anything he has is screwed when I call Wind, as far as I'm aware. I mean, yeah, I would destroy my own Baron de Fleur, but whatever. I still have the negate and he can't really do anything. This game we're going second against an Ignister and we have no counterplay. Honestly, this is the first time I saw a full Ignister board, as in what they want to accomplish. And I was like, wait, I don't have anything negate. What are they doing? Because they just keep bring out monsters to link summon higher and higher. What are their end goal? This is the issue. Because for some reason this doesn't count as a monster effect, removing this from the graveyard. And as a result, you can remove my Red Supernova Dragon with it, which I don't understand how that's possible. That is a monster that is being activated by removing it from the graveyard. Why, like, how does that work even? So anyways, this is the kind of end board they set up, and they can just go straight into this, the Arrival Cyberse at Ignister. 6,000 attack, and it is unaffected by other card effects. So literally nothing you can feasibly do against it. Summoning the Chaos Ruler. I'm going all defense mode because I have no way of getting out the Red Supernova Dragon yet. Luckily that'll save me next turn. But yeah, getting out the DP just that should be continuous defense. That's the only thing I can really do. I know it doesn't destroy, but I you know, don't want to lose my Chaos Ruler. So after all my block. Just gonna see what I can dwarf it, but obviously he has a cross-out designator. Kind of scary actually, like 6,000 attack boss monster that is unaffected by anything. So yeah, I summoned the Red Resonator with the DP effect, which literally gives me the Red Supernova Dragon that I was searching for. Just because I can, and I figured if I can, why not? And there we go, that's Red Supernova Dragon summoned. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that this works like this. I don't get an option to activate the Red Supernova Dragon effect there, and I have no idea why. It is literally a monster effect he's activating. I don't understand Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. Like, they summon that guy and then they don't really have much backup plays. And this time I call Light to get rid of the thing he summoned, but like it can attach a material to prevent its destruction, so I need something else as well. So here I reduce the level to go into the Yasi, because that's a way to pop the thing. First I activate the Light thing, he obviously detaches the material, but this is where I then pop his thing. And then I can go into another play, because that's why Yasi is in the extra deck. And then I return this just in case. Bit late for the Crimson Resonator to show up, but whatever. And at this stage he concedes. Not really the best of hand here, but we are making it work by cross-out designating his Max C, and also going into the Kristen Halfcraft combo. So obviously we switch out to the Shooting Rider Dragon, but I'm actually holding, and there's no reason to really activate it after I found out he would Swordsoul Tenyi. And as a result, I'll just wait for him to bring out the Vishuda and try and remove one of my things back to the, well, I guess extra deck here. And as a result of that, I can activate the effect. But this is one of the only times I've actually cross-out designated a Forbidden Droplet. And that is literally just why the Forbidden Droplet is in the deck. Either you can make use of it, or you can cross-out designate it if the opponent doesn't send a spell to the graveyard. And that that allows us to go into the Baron de Fleur pretty flawlessly. And as a result, he has to summon the Swordsoul Supreme. So luckily I do a Swordsoul, which means that I can get going now. He doesn't really have any counterplay here, so I can just do stuff. Luckily I also do the Resonator, which means that the amount of plays I need to make is way less than, you know, otherwise. And as a result, he just concedes. And here we have a quite interesting game from Diamond 1, mainly because I had the Asketor Dawnwalker with the Crimson Resonator and a Synchron Resonator, which just means that I get 2 Red Supernova Dragons on my field. If I have the appropriate Light and Dark monsters, anyways. And this top 5 card search actually allowed me to get that. First Red Supernova Dragon return the Chain Resonator. Since we haven't used the normal summon, we can get what we need for the second Red Supernova Dragon. It's not something you can do often. It's not really that good. Having an Abyss and a Red Supernova Dragon is probably better. But honestly, 2 Red Supernova Dragons, come on, you gotta go for it. You gotta go for it. Yes, I have his Feather Duster. I just called Forbidden Droplet mostly because I don't think I needed this game, and I just, you know, it's a way to thin the deck, but also in case he had some counterplay when he had some stuff out, I'm not entirely sure. Might as well use 1 Red Supernova Dragon because I have 2, so I can use 1 a bit early just to make sure that he has less stuff to play with. At this stage he fusion summons, and while I could actually activate the Red Supernova Dragon, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait until this is on the field, but then he just ends his turn. I mean, if he had attacked, I would just activate the Red Supernova Dragon effect and he would be screwed anyways. But yeah, that's when I activated. Of course he gets some stuff back as a result. But I don't really care because when I end my turn I get both Red Supernova Dragons right back. So obviously I could have just activated a Red Supernova Dragon here, but I don't know why, I just felt like it was a bit too early. As a result I lose 1 of them, and this would permanently negate my Red Supernova Dragon, so I have to take it off the board. So I go into the Crystal Hulk with a Brax here. Didn't really need to because I have the Red Supernova Dragon, and at this stage he can't really do anything to stop that. So I just go into the Supreme Sovereign here because I can, and he just sees, yeah, I can't win this. Like, he can't get rid of the Red Supernova Dragon 2 times, he can only get rid of it once, and, you know, he sees defeat. This game was my first attempt at ranking up to Diamond 1, and as you can see, this guy haven't even used his normal summon. And honestly, if I had played this a bit better, I could probably have won, as I'll go over, which is why this game is so important. Because also, like, this game just in general summarizes my entire experience with Season 5, and I feel like that's important to go over as well. Where the opponent almost always go first, and they almost always top deck exactly what they need. So the reason why the Nibiru trap works so well on him is that I had actually turned off, so he didn't get any warnings of Nibiru. But he didn't use his normal summon, so he does this. And then he top decks the perfect card for him right there. In this scenario though, I need to attack so that he doesn't have his effect negate, because I can't really play that well around that. As a result, I want to do this and summon the Moye, but no, the card he just top decked was an Effect Veiler. The perfect card to deal with whatever I was doing. And I go into the Hulk. I don't have enough material to summon the Protoss, and here I kinda throw by calling water. I'm too fixated on, oh, if I call water he can't just do his plays. But honestly, he has a Swordsoul Emergence, I know this, in his hand, and he also top decked the Moye. So with all the information available, I knew that calling water there would have, you know, lost me the game if I'd paid attention, which I sadly didn't, which is the lesson to learn here. But if I'd called light, I could have potentially turned this game. This is not going to be a full game, I just want to show something really cool that you can do with the non-DP version of the deck, like the one with the Hulk in it. And it's really why I really love this deck so much, because you can do this combo here. So we go into the Chaos Ruler, and since we now have Synchro Monster, we can summon the Synchron Resonator, which means we have the Chaos Ruler plus 2 monsters. That alone just means that we can get out a King Calamity on the opponent's turn, which in most cases means you just straight up win the game. And the reason why I say in most cases is that I learned that there's one specific opponent right here that we're going against that does not care about my King Calamity. I even have the perfection that is called summoning a Baron de Fleur on top of this. So I literally have one of the best possible scenarios I could have against most deck. But this is Virtual World, and Surprisingly, Virtual World can get out of EFD without activating a single effect according to how the game's rule works. Also, he had Forbidden Droplet. Luckily, I had gotten my Kristen Halg away from the board before that, so yeah, summon the King Calamity. But apparently, you can just activate the effects. Like, the game does not care. Apparently a reveal doesn't count as an activated effect, even though you can activate, you know, Psy Reflector and all of those things against them. So this guy just does his whole thing, no Fs given, just summon the VFD, and I end up losing this game as a result. You can see none of the effects actually activate here, but he just summons it. There it is, and he wasn't able to activate any... let's read here. You can activate this effect for the rest of this turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards. Also, cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. Excuse me, Virtual World, but that looked like you were activating effects from hand to me that required you to select a card on your field and then you could special summon. But I guess that's not how Master Duel interprets it. In case it's important to some people, here are all the games that were showed in this video. First time I'm actually showing losses in these kind of videos, but I felt like there was a huge lesson to be learned in this game and to show you guys as well. And then also that either Master Duel is bugged and allows Virtual World to play through King Calamity, or that's just how it would go against an actual judge. I know you can activate Cyframe Gear Gamma, and you can activate Ash Blossom against when they reveal them and try and target and special summon them, but that should mean that they're activated, right? So King Calamity should block them, right? But then, no, apparently not. Regardless, these are the games. I figured we'd just go over the 40 card version first, then I can show the other two 50 card versions and what they add afterwards. We have a Cyframe Driver, 2 Synchron Resonator, a Chain Resonator, Tenyi Spirit Adhara, 2 Maxis, 2 Red Resonators, 2 Cyframe Gear Gamma, 2 Crimson Resonator, we have 1 Phantom King Hydrite, that's obviously for the Kristen Halk with Bax combo, in case we brick, so that makes all of our, I guess, Red Resonators and that Hara into a secure Baron de Fleur or Swordsoul Supreme Sovereign. Then we have 2 Ash Blossoms, we have the 1 Rinkin Wild Wind, we have 3 Swordsoul of Moyer, we have 2 Swordsoul of Taye, we have 2 Incredible Celsius, we have 3 Swordsoul Strategists, we have 2 Tenyi Spirit Vishuda, we have Nibiru, we have Arch Nemesis Protoss, we have 3 Swordsoul Emergence, we have 2 Called by the Grave, 3 Crossout Designators, and Infinite Impermanence. As for the extra deck, we have Red Rising Dragon, we have Yasi Evil of Yang Xing, we have Shooting Riser Dragon, we have Baxia Brightness of the Yang Xing, then we have Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, we have 2 Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragons, we have 1 Swordsoul Grandmaster, we have a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, we have a Baron de Fleur, we have the Swordsoul Supreme Sovereign, we have Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, we have 2 Red Supernova Dragons, and then we have the Kristen Halk with Brax. The changes from the 40 card version is 3 Ascator Dawnwalkers, a Fire Ant Ascator. The reason why you only have 1 Fire Ant is because it's a brick and you only need to get 1 Ascator going to be fine. We have an extra Adhara, we have the Iris Swordsoul, we have a Resonator Call, we have a Lightning Storm, we have a Forbidden Droplet, and we have the Red Rain. And I think everything else should be the same. And lastly, the best version of the deck for grinding ranked with at least, we have Destiny Hero Celestial, Destiny Hero Dasher, 2 Fusion Destiny. These replace the whole Fire and Ascator Dawnwalker package we had. And then you replace the Hydrite with another Excelsior, because now you actually have a fusion, so you can benefit from the extra effect of returning it. So it's nicer having one, because it just keeps getting you placed that way. Then you replace the Halcrif Rex with a Predaplant Bird and a Condra, and you replace the Shooting Riser Dragon with Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. As well as the King Calamity, because you can't summon it in the enemy's turn anymore, with a Bane. I personally don't like this version as much because it shifts focus on summoning DP, so you can get the bricks out of your deck and such, over the Red Supernova Dragon. But, you know, when I play it, I still try and focus the Red Supernova Dragon if possible. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you again next time.